Hey guys, it's Becky, the Musing Monster with Real Progressives. I'm here today to really go into detail about my opinion regarding race in progressive politics. I touched on it yesterday with my Be Live stream with Johnny and Mao, and I really want to get into talking about some more things that I guess I kind of wasn't able to get into, but not their fault. They had a limited time frame, and I want to be able to talk about it and really get into it and give you guys some information. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so yesterday I had the Be Live chat with Johnny and Mao, and we talked about how Bernie's progressive politics have really disillusioned and marginalized the minority community, specifically Black people. And I went into it, Mao went into it, Johnny said his piece, and we all said some really great points, and I'm glad that we had that discussion. It was great. I had a great time, and it gave me a little bit of a break from my writing. And also, I was able to really touch on some things that people didn't really want to say, but that's who I am as the Musing Monster. I'm here to say shit that you're not gonna say. And really, that's who we are as progressives too. So when we talk about race in general, I'm gonna say some things at the base that all of us need to be able to understand. That race really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. When somebody says all lives matter, true, accurate. That's accurate. All lives do matter, but at the same time, there are things that happen to people that are basically pushed under the rug, or basically they're just taken off the radar as far as anybody being able to really care about it. So that's why race is so important when it comes to our social makeup and when it comes to our politics. The problem that happens, though, a lot of times with politics is that people start to focus on identity politics, and that's with race, that's with gender, that's with gender identity, that's with religion. The list goes on. When we get into actually trying to unify people, you have to understand that Black people especially have been on the outskirts. Black people and Indigenous people have been on the outskirts of society for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And it's going to take a while before we're able to even trust anybody. So when people ask, like people asked in the chat last night, who's the best candidate? I can't tell you that, because even if they say we're going to have all of these things that each and every minority and Indigenous person, every Black person, every person of Latin descent would want, even if they say they're going to do all that and more and a free car for everybody, look under your seat. Okay, we could do that, but at the same time, what happens on day 2 that they get elected? Are they going to actually do anything? We don't know. So when we're talking about the civility stuff that Mao and Johnny, I guess, are dealing with in Minnesota, because I've never heard of that here. In fact, I was in the whole conversation like, what the fuck is that? Is that some kind of new political mumbo jumbo PC bullshit? Because it's accurate. But when we're talking about civility, as far as the actual dictionary definition, it's more so of being polite. But I guess in the political spectrum, it's just in a way that, like, if a moderator was between the two of you, you would be able to like negotiate terms or something. Like, you would be able to bring your argument to the table, they bring their argument to the table, and both sides are both being respectful of the other. And to an extent, that can happen. To an extent, that's what we want to happen. Like, of course, that's what we want to happen. We want to be able to say how we feel, and we want to be able to be heard and understood, and we don't want confrontation. Or some people do, but the majority of us don't, because I got better shit to do than to fight with somebody over fucking race. Okay, I got better shit to do. But when you're actually trying to, when you're actually trying to unify people, and you're trying to make those bridges, there are going to be some people who are just ready to fucking burn the shit down, and that's just in any walk of life. But the majority is just not like that, and we can't be all put in a box. That's another thing that's difficult when it comes to progressive politics. If we say anything against Bernie, we're instantly blacklisted as being disruptive to the cause that they're trying to put forward. There were two candidates in the Green Party that were basically pushed aside for the two white majority leader in the primaries that were basically picked, and Jill Stein was the one that was picked, which she did try to do something great for the Green Party, and that probably would have helped both sides enough. And I'm trying to not divide anybody when I do that, when I say both sides, but it's basically both sides of that argument, not both sides of the party itself. I don't want to divide the party like that. But anyway, progressive politics, it's already really contentious as it is because we're already pissed. We're already like, we hate these motherfuckers. We have to be able to have everybody counted equally. And then we have to get into the argument of gerrymandering, redlining, and where where the voter districts are drawn, and it's completely bass backwards, basically. The biggest problem that I've seen among the progressive community is basically when we get into conversations, and Mal touched on this a lot, and so did Johnny, basically the contention that they had received in their conversations, and I've received it as well. I've received it when talking to feminists about race. I've talked to people that think that they know, but they have no idea. And it's okay if you don't know. I don't have a problem helping you understand, and I don't think anybody else does. But again, I don't know if it actually made it through, but at the end of the live feed, I said, in combination of what Mao was saying at the end, nothing that we are saying here that we have said and that we will say in the future is new, unless there's some shit that's going to happen with new technology that is going to cause a racial issue. It's not new. Okay, so voting fraud, police brutality, people getting locked up for no reason, people not being able to be treated equally economically, that's not new. And until we're able to get over the small shit, until we're able to get over these mini humps that we are still stuck in, we're not inclusive. We're not the greatest country. We're not even mediocre at this point, because we still have all of these things in the books that other countries, other more modern countries are able to put in their legal system, such as, but not limited to, the nuclear agreement and the nuclear armistice. We're one of the only ones that don't have it. Also the metric system, but again, another whole ball of wax. Even when we're talking to colleagues or people that are supposed to be within our same group politically, we experience basically the same thing. We get shut out of conversations because we are too stubborn or not able to see somebody else's point of view, but that's not the case. We're just trying to talk about our point of view, or we look like we're too brash or too harsh or not being civil when we're just talking. What makes it so hard for progressives like me to understand when it comes to people being disrespectful in that manner is that we're progressives, okay? We're not supposed to be the ones that are marginalizing people and putting people in fucking boxes. So please miss me with that, okay? Please miss me with the fact that I gotta shut up because you don't want me talking bad about Bernie. I don't care about white nationalism because at least I know where I stand with them. What I'm saying is that liberals and Democrats are fucking fake sometimes. And they look a lot like alt-rights. And they look a lot like the people carrying the torches in the hoods. sometimes when they're talking about race, basically like apologists or reconstructionists, and really just saying all of these myths about slavery and about the Civil War, about the Civil Rights Movement, about specific pioneers, such as, but not limited to, Martin Luther King. They don't really understand what they are saying by saying Bernie is the new MLK, because MLK was not, he was not a political pawn, or at least he was not a political pawn in the sense that he could just say, nah, I'm not going to be progressive anymore, or I'm not going to do this because it's not profitable, or it's not good for my bottom line. It's just irritating when people want to just, instead of giving somebody a real place and platform to say what they have to say, they basically just give them a crayon box, give them a piece of paper, and say, go off. You're good. You don't need anything else. And this is one of the main reasons why race is still a problem in this country. We aren't able to listen to anybody. I don't know if I've spoken about this before, but I'm going to go ahead and say it again. When Black people walk by each other, if you just sit and watch us sometimes, not like zoo animals, because we will watch you and we will clock you, okay? But when, at least I've noticed, all my life, we nod. Every time we see somebody, I always say hey. And that's always because we want to be seen. As slaves, we lost our name, we lost our identity, we lost who we are as a human being. And to say that we aren't okay in 2018 to come to the forum and say what we need to say is rank, nasty, gutterball bullshit. Nodding, it's actually an African custom. And the African word for it, I don't know, but I know the translation is I see you. I see you. And that's all that we usually need. We just need someone to see us. And when you shut us down and tell us to go to the side, you don't see us. When you want to bring us out and have us say what you want to say, you don't see us. When you have people say that they know what they're talking about when they talk about racial politics, but then they talk up some shit that has nothing to do with racial politics, and they have nothing to do with trying to honor the Black community or honor the Asian community or honor the Latin community or honor the indigenous community or honor the Arab community, what have you, white community even too. You don't understand, and you can't understand. Especially if you're saying you want an all-inclusive or civil platform. You cannot have a civil platform when only a part of the society is being honored, or at least a part of the beneficial society is being honored. Because I'm not trying to honor pedophiles. I'm not trying to honor racists. I'm not trying to honor anything like that. I'm trying to honor people that are trying to help the country grow in a way that everybody is going to have a chance. One thing I said on the live stream was that we need to stop alienating people, because unfortunately a lot of people are being written out as allies that may actually be allies to us, and that's on both sides of the issue. And we automatically write people as a certain way because they fall into that demographic, and it's human nature to assume, and it's, assumptions save your life. Assumptions, though, they do need to be checked every now and then, because if we don't check our assumptions, we're just going to continue to fall down a spiral of deliberate ignorance. It's okay to not have the knowledge, i.e. ignorant, but it's not okay when you are deliberately choosing to be ignorant, because then you're just, what are you doing? What are you doing here? And what are you even here for? Because we're trying to have a positive conversation, a constructive conversation. We're not trying to have a conversation about you. And that's basically it. If someone's being deliberately ignorant, it's because they choose to feel a certain way and they want to just be respected to have that feeling. Okay, bye. Cool. feel that way. Bye. You know, when I talk to people about race, or when I talk to people about politics, religion, whatever, I usually do that because I'm trying to have a positive or constructive conversation. I'm not doing it to honor anybody else's opinion over mine. I'm trying to honor it with mine. You're right with me. You're on the side of me. We are going at the same path. We're going along the same path together. And I hope that maybe once we are able to take a closer look at what we feel, then it'll help us to be able to actually bring people together and stop the division before it's too late. Remember, we have little ones that are watching, and a lot of little ones are protesting, or, you know, a lot of little ones were willing to protest, you know, because we didn't do what we were supposed to do. We didn't do our due diligence because we were too busy arguing. So let's stop arguing and actually do something for a change. Let's get this going. Let's stop, you know, let's keep the conversations going, even if they hurt, even if they don't feel good, you know, because I'd rather, you know, hate myself for like 5 minutes, go get some coffee or donuts or something, and then, you know, shove them down my mouth hole because I feel like crap after I talked about a topic that wasn't really friendly, but made me feel good because I got it out. So we all have to take those moments. You know, you take the good and you take the bad, and at the end, we're all learning. At the end, we're all trying our best. And if we can at least see each other that way, that we're all trying our best, that we're all trying to get to the same finish line. Somehow, we may want to take our own paths, but we're all trying to get to the same finish line. That's how I like to look at it. That's all I've got for you today, guys. It's not a nice conversation, but I try to make light of it sometimes, and hopefully I wasn't too long-winded. I'm gonna try and cut this way down because there's a lot of stuff to it. But if you guys want me to talk about it more, feel free to leave some information. Feel free to leave me a comment. Feel free to contact us via our website or our social media pages. Please subscribe to Real Progressives on YouTube. Follow us on our socials. And I guess I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.